You ever notice something kind of weird happening on social media lately? It seems like the youngest generation, the one that grew up completely online, is all of a sudden embracing privacy. And this isn't just some passing trend, it's a sign of a really fascinating new social order taking shape. So let's dig into what's really going on here.
Okay, picture this. For years, your teenage son has basically built a digital fortress around his social media life, walled you off completely. Then, just out of the blue, you find out he's not only following you on one platform, but his entire profile is wide open for you to see. That's exactly what happened to the author of our source material, and you can bet it left him with a whole lot of questions.
I mean, it's a real head-scratcher, isn't it? Why would a generation that literally grew up in the digital spotlight suddenly crave privacy? And what is it about one specific platform that makes it feel like a safe space, while others, the big ones like Instagram and TikTok, feel like a constant performance? That's the mystery we're going to unravel in this explainer.
To really get to the bottom of this, we first have to step into the world of Gen Z. Their experience with the digital world is just fundamentally different from any generation that came before them. And that context is everything.
What's really fascinating here is how all of these traits are completely interconnected. So yeah, as digital natives, they're totally at home online. But, and this is key, they've also grown up hyper-aware of the importance of mental health, having seen the damage that cyberbullying and constant comparison can do. This makes them both deeply connected and, at the same time, deeply cautious.
And that right there, that's the central tension for Gen Z online. On one hand, they really yearn for that genuine connection that social media promises. But on the other, they are so acutely aware of the pressure to perform. That constant fear of being judged. They want to be seen, sure, but they want to be seen on their own terms.
So all this tension is driving a huge, fundamental shift in how Gen Z uses social media. They're moving away from what we'll call documenting their lives, and instead they're curating their identities. Let's break down what that actually means.
First, let's talk about the old school way, the Millennial model. This is all about documentation, and you know exactly what I'm talking about: the perfectly staged brunch photos, the endless vacation albums, the constant stream of selfies. It's all about creating this public highlight reel of your life, and let's be honest, seeking validation through likes and comments.
Okay, now for the new model, curation. This is totally different. It's not about what you do, it's about who you are. So instead of that highlight reel, think of it more like a carefully crafted mosaic of your interests, your passions, your whole aesthetic. It's about building an identity through what you love, not just a log of your daily activities.
This slide just lays it all out perfectly. On one side, you've got the high-stakes world of Instagram and TikTok, where every post is a performance and you're constantly seeking validation. But on the other, you have platforms like Pinterest for aesthetics, Letterboxd for film lovers, or Goodreads for readers. These feel more like personal sanctuaries. They're all about exploring your interests without that constant fear of judgment.
So what was that mystery platform where the author's son let his guard down? It was Pinterest. Yeah, Pinterest. A platform many of us might just associate with recipes and DIY projects has quietly become this perfect playground for a new, curated form of social interaction. This quote is so telling, isn't it? For the son, his curated board of aesthetic photography was a much more authentic reflection of who he was than any selfie could ever be. It was a window into his soul, not just a snapshot of his life.
And this is where it gets really interesting. He used these curated boards to connect with all his different friend groups, the theater kids, the gamers, the K-pop fans. The images and ideas on the boards became the bridge between them. They were bonding over shared passions, not just because they were in the same social circles.
Pinterest's own journey is a key part of this story. It launched way back in 2010, and a few years ago, it made this really critical decision. It stopped trying to compete with Instagram and TikTok. Instead, it just doubled down on being a visual discovery tool in a positive online space. And that one move, maybe without even realizing it, created the perfect low-pressure environment that Gen Z was looking for.
So what does all this mean for the future of social media? Well, it suggests we're witnessing the rise of a completely new social order, one that values something very, very different from the last decade of online life.
So, what's the big takeaway here?
It's that the future of social media might not be about who can shout the loudest. The platforms that last, the ones that really endure, might just be the ones that offer a quiet space for you to explore who you are, without the pressure to be someone you're not. And that has huge implications for everything from marketing to how we build online communities.
This whole thing suggests a powerful shift in what we even consider social media to be. The ultimate goal may no longer be about broadcasting a polished version of yourself to the world, but about using these platforms as tools to explore, to discover, and to literally build your own identity, piece by piece, through the things you genuinely love.
So the bottom line is this: we're seeing a new kind of connection online, one that's built on shared interests, not just shared identities. Curation is the quiet bridge that's bringing people together. And in a world of so much online conflict, it's creating a rare space where even a parent and a teenager can connect.
And that leaves us with a final, fascinating question to think about. As we move forward in this ever-evolving digital world, is it possible that the deepest, most meaningful connections we're going to make will be based not on who we are, but on the things that we mutually love?